Pavy with HNB Media.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Had better days, but I'm doing all right.
When it comes to you guys' defensive effort, especially there in that third quarter and that second half in general, was it where you think it needed to be? And if it wasn't, do you have any ideas as to why it wasn't?
No, it wasn't even close. I mean, even from the start, not just in the second half, just overall, we couldn't keep up with the pace and intensity level that this team plays with. And they had us chasing them all around the court the entire evening. And, that's on us. We have to figure out while trying to keep ourselves ready, fresh, healthy, etc. How do we bring the intensity, the energy, the passion that we need to, as we move through this season. So we'll learn from it. When you hit adversity early in the season, before you've really formed all the way and come together all the way, things like this can happen. So we got to go back to the drawing board in terms of how we're preparing ourselves individually, collectively, and come back and be better on Thursday. There's no time for feeling sorry for ourselves, and that's what this season is going to be about. Turning the page. You win, you got to come back the next day and be better. And if you lose, it's going to be the same way. So, we'll have to figure some things out, whether strategically, lineup-wise, how we manage our days, getting used to these 9 p.m., 10 p.m. tip-offs, so that we can find a way to make sure we're ready to play.
David Yapkowitz, Next Hoops.
Hey, Coach. Not that much of many bright spots tonight, but one of them was Britney Sykes. She had another strong game, despite the loss. I know you talked about her being one of the surprises of training camp and stuff, but has she shown you anything, at least in these 2 games, that maybe you didn't see in training camp? Things that maybe surprised you a little bit, stood out?
No, I mean, I think she had a really good camp. I think she's shown an ability to do some things with the basketball that, she showed flashes of in Atlanta, but she's definitely more consistent in her ability to do some things off the dribble, her ability to attack and finish at the basket and transition. Those are really good things for us. As she learns what we need from her on the offensive and defensive end, I think she's going to really be able to find her way and have some impact for us. And I wish we could have gotten a win on a night that she performed well, and I'm sure she feels the same way.
Chris Camello.
Yeah, Coach. Thanks for taking the question. Obviously, a tough night. What did you see from the second unit? Because it kind of felt like in the first quarter and the third quarter, really slow starts, but the second unit was able to kind of come in. So kind of just contrast between what you saw from the first unit and what you saw from the second unit. And could there be any changes down the road if the first unit comes out slow over the next 2 games, considering the margin for error is small?
Yeah, no, I think which happens sometimes during the course of seasons. Your starting group, if they're veterans, depending on the night, it's just not there for whatever reason. And, you hope to have some players that can come in and get the energy going and the passion and really just play with the open mind and some spirit. It's not easy to be, all-star Hall of Fame players and have to be at your best every night. And we have some of those players, and there are going to be nights where they just don't have it. And we're going to need people to come in and give us good effort. And we had several people. Christina Nigwe came in and was good for us. Sydeny, Wiese, Britney Sykes. Simone didn't make shots tonight, but she did some things that were good for us to help us try to work our way back into the game in the first quarter and third quarter. So we're going to need more of that as we move forward. And hopefully, the lineup that starts can help us get off to better starts as we move forward.
2 more for Coach here. John W. Davis, Winsider.
Hey, Coach, if you could do a little self-assessment for me, I'd appreciate it. Can you kind of give yourself a self-assessment on how you feel like you were able to use your rotation when you basically lost by 20 and you had Candace, Chelsea, and Raquana essentially play 30 minutes? How do you feel you did managing the rotation when you end up losing by basically 20?
I mean, whatever I did, it didn't work. Tonight we didn't come out of here with a win, and that's really, what you want to try and do. I think more so than the minutes and the way they averaged out with us only having basically 10 available players, those minutes were going to go up tonight compared to Saturday. And when you get behind early, that typically happens as well. You end up having some players, especially your starting group, that ends up having to play more minutes to try to see if you can work your way back in. In terms of self-assessment, I think continuing to navigate, the time and the effort and the work that we need to put in to be ready for these games every night, that they come without overworking, increasing the risk of injury for some of our players. But Chicago, they were able to do it tonight. Stephanie Dolson was out, one of their starters, with an ankle injury, and they were able to have some other players, Azare Stevens, Kalia Copper, to come out and have big performances, and that's what you need when people are missing. And we didn't get as many of those tonight. And so we'll have to find a way to keep getting better. But for me, it's, every day it's about finding a way to help us get better, win or lose. And, I'll think about that more tonight. And then we'll wake up tomorrow morning and figure out what we need to do to get better tomorrow so we can prepare for Thursday.
Last question, Miriam Swanson, LA Daily News.
Fish. Wondering, do you feel the empty arena more if you're a player in a game like this where you're just trying to come back and come back?
I'm sure you do. I mean, it's no excuse. I mean, we know what it is. But, it's always tough either on the road or obviously in a neutral situation like this, that energy that you sometimes need to fight back. You need that home crowd sometimes. But, yeah, I mean, it's a part of this experience. And, when we played on Saturday, it was the same. And, the difference is we were ahead, in the second half of that game, and we weren't tonight. So, we just have to keep finding ways to make sure we're ready to play every night. And, that's my responsibility. And that's also, our veteran leaders and our core players. They have to also set the example, make sure they're ready to go, and then everybody else follows suit. So we all have things to, assess, review, see how we can each get better. And that's what we'll have to do tomorrow to make sure we have a chance to win on Thursday.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks.
Started. All right, media questions for Britney Sykes. Chris Camello.
Hey, Brittany. How's the elbow, first of all?
The elbow's good. It's a part of the game, man. I done had plenty of falls like that. The funny thing is, I think when I had got up, they had asked if they wanted to carry me off, and the first thing I said was, I got to walk off because I know my mom was watching. So I had to tough it out for her.
On a night where things didn't go well as a team, do you take any solace knowing that you were one of the lone bright spots for the Sparks?
Well, I mean, I guess if you want to put it that way, but I just know every time I step on that court, I just got to be ready to play. I know that I'm an energy player. I know that I can create possessions for my team, whether it's on the defensive end or the offensive end. So for me, I just got to come in and do my job and control my controllables.
Miriam.
Oh, hey, is it harder for you guys to kind of get your energy up in an empty arena when you're trying to come back like that?
No, no, it's an effort thing, and games like this will happen, but it's what we do after the fact. And honestly, I think that the way this is set up, people can look at it as, we play, don't play. It gives you an opportunity to wipe this game out of memory in the sense of, not holding on to the negativities, think about the positives, what we can come and, and get out of this game in the film and on to the next one. We got some formidable opponents coming up, so we have to get ready for them.
John W. Davis.
Hey, Britt, what's your takeaway from this game?
Come out stronger. We got to finish strong. Continue to play as a team. Like everybody who was watching the game, that those spurts where we started to chip away at, at their defense, and we started to get them a little flustered on their offensive end. We just got to keep doing that. We see what we're capable of. We just got to do it, for 40 minutes, and we're more than capable of that. I am for sure about that because we've shown it.
Thank you, Brittany.
No problem. Thanks, E.
All right, media. Questions for Candace Parker? You can raise your hand at this point. We'll go to Chris Camello.
Hey, Candace, obviously a tough night. What ultimately went wrong at the start of the first quarter and the start of the third quarter, in your opinion?
I just think Chicago was ready to play, and we weren't. I mean, they hit shots, they moved the ball, they played aggressive, and I think we used everything we had to get back into the game. And but I mean, Chicago played well tonight, and we got to figure out ways to start the first quarter and the third quarter better.
John W. Davis.
What's your assessment of, you came out after a few minutes in the first quarter and then you came right back in and tried to help the team get back in there. You were just telling Chris about you felt like you used a lot of effort to get back in there, but how did you feel about just like coming right back in when you were down by 13 and saying like, I got to do something instead of just sitting there and watching it happen?
I mean, we battled to get back in it. I was proud of, the second unit did an amazing job. I mean, Britney Sykes, we were able to get some stops. Sydeny Wiese in the third and fourth quarter played well for us. So I think it's just we got to start better, and we got to figure out a way to get ourselves going, at this point in the night.
Miriam Swanson, LA Daily News.
Hey, Candace. Does it help to have another game so soon and sort of have the schedule where you guys like get right back to it after a loss like this?
I honestly don't think it matters at this point. I mean, we played, Chicago played really well today. We did not. So at this point, it's kind of like you could be a positive where you'll have a couple days of practice to get better, or, right back out on the court. Obviously, as athletes and as competitors, we want to get back out there, but we have a good Connecticut team that's coming in off of 2 losses, so we definitely can't play the way that we played today.
Last question, Tukney with the LA Times.
Candace, what's kind of the recovery plan for you? You got about 48 hours, so less than 48 hours. How do you pack in all the recovery you need during that time?
My room is a training room, basically. I have every type of device, apparatus with me, and I'm on it around the clock. It's really beneficial for me to not travel. I'm able to get on the bus and go back to the room. So I think for me, it's inflammation and swelling and just trying to keep that down. I actually have a mattress being delivered because my bed I'm used to a different bed. So I think once that gets delivered, it'll be much better.
All right. Thank you, Candace.
Thank you.
All right, media questions for Sydeny Wiese. Megan Hines.
Hi, City. I just wanted to ask just about the second unit. At different points, the second unit came in and brought in some energy, and you also went on your own little run of like 3-pointers. Can you just talk about how big of that was for you guys, even though you guys couldn't really get over the hump?
I think the main thing is we all have to stay ready. Everybody's important, especially in a season like this. You never know when your name's going to get called, and got to make sure to keep people fresh. And we have a game Thursday, and so it's our job to go out there and perform, and you never want it to drop off. And so that's what we talk about before the game. To when your name's called, go out there and do what you do, and always bring energy. And so we got to bounce back on Thursday. Chicago is ready to play, and so we got to make sure that our minds are ready to go once the ball is tipped.
Pavy, HNB Media.
Hey, Sydney. I was just wondering, with the game times not being as consistent as they normally would be, during a normal season, does that throw you guys off at all? Like a little bit, like does that kind of mess with your internal body clock, or does it not really have that much of a difference? Make that much of a difference?
You just got to play. Whenever you take the floor, we've been around the game long enough where we've seen it all. And so this is what is being asked of us. And so as competitors, you turn it on. It doesn't matter what time it is. It can be early morning. It can be late night. This is our job. And so we got to make sure that when we do have our time on the floor, we're ready. And there's no excuses. There's no excuses across the board. All of us here are being asked to play at different hours than we might be used to. And so it's going to be about your will and your competitive edge, no matter what time it is that you step onto the floor, it's on.
Jeff Sims to Profanity Nation.
Hi, Sydney.
Hello.
Up so quick, is it hard to stay focused on the next game versus looking forward?
Sorry, can you say that again, please?
Yeah, with so many games coming up so quick for you, is it hard to stay focused just on the next game without looking forward to the forward games?
No, I think we're taking it every day, and every single day presents its own challenges. And so we're not even thinking about Thursday yet. We got to make sure that we take care of business tomorrow with practice as we prepare for Thursday. And so it's step by step here. So tonight we got to recover, make sure we take care of ourselves, and then take care of business mentally. And if we're on the court tomorrow, making sure that we prepare our bodies accordingly. And then once Thursday comes, then you take care of business then too. I don't even know who we play and when the next game is after Thursday. So I think this is forcing us to stay super present. And so you can't look too far ahead. We have to take care of business and take care of each other every single moment.
Last question for tonight, Chris Camello.
Sydney, obviously a tough loss tonight. Do you take any solace knowing that you and the second unit kind of came in the second quarter and at the end of that third, you in particularly kind of speared a mini comeback there and just try to cut into that lead? Do you take any solace, any silver lining after a tough loss knowing that you and the second unit kind of did your job?
Not really, because we still lost. And so it doesn't matter across the board, we lost as a team. And so we got to make sure all 12 are ready to go, top to bottom. And so we got to do our jobs individually and collectively. And so Chicago was ready. They punched us in the face. We felt it all game. They kept running it down our throats the entire game. And so we can't dwell on it, though. We go back to work tomorrow, and then come Thursday, we got a late tip, but there's no excuses. There's no excuses for this whole season. And so what's good about it, though, is it is a quick turnaround. And so we have a great opportunity again on Thursday to bounce back and to make sure that we come out as ready as we can be once the ball is tipped from the very jump.